Good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. It is Tuesday night, of course. I am Nick Rosario, and yes, as always, I want the smoke. But it's Tuesday, and so I'm going to try to relax a little bit and have a little fun. This is Let's Talk Football, the Roundtable, and we're here on a lovely Tuesday night, as always. And of course, I am never alone. So as you can see, I have a wonderful person next to me here on the screen. That is the lovely Delilah. I'm going to show you my guns, Crespo. Delilah, how are you doing on this
Hey,
fine
what's
Tuesday?
up? I'm doing great. It's just two of us tonight, y'all. Like it's okay.
Yeah,
Nick and I will take care of everybody.
yeah, we're
But
gonna
yeah,
do it.
we're just having our. I don't know. Tell him we want him on the show. We've been waiting.
Oh, is that what happened? Who do we want? Who do we want? What do we want? When do we want it? No,
Yeah. So
I don't.
anyway,
I don't
but
happen to have it handy. Oh wow! Now Scott's giving out nicknames. There we go.
yeah.
Anthony, I
So
don't happen to have it handy. Well, all right. That's actually a
hopefully
pretty good one. I enjoy
that
that.
that is a good one. So hopefully he pops in. But yeah, we're just having our Super Bowl show, and
That's all
so
right.
hopefully he'll join us.
We're gonna yeah, and this is just something for us to kind of have a little fun with. We're gonna talk about some of our favorite things about the Super Bowl. This is all strictly about the Super Bowl. So we did have some trivia questions as well for those that you're watching. See if you know a little football trivia, but why not, Delilah? Let's get started. Let's go with the first question we have up there. These were all submitted by me because I just thought they would be fun to talk about. And that is, what is your favorite Super Bowl memory? Delilah, obviously, I'll let you go first. Go right. What is your favorite Super Bowl memory?
So like I obviously I can't say 85 beers because I was too little. So
Sure.
that's not a core memory at all.
Right.
So
Sure.
like um so like the ones that I mean I don't because the thing is like I didn't start like in the 90s. I was still again like I was watching football, but it wasn't like I was watching, I would sit and watch the Super Bowl and stuff. So like it
Right.
wasn't
Right.
until
Right.
like the 2000s where I started like actually paying attention when I was like more of a young adult and
Mm.
stuff like that. So like, I remember the Super Bowl where like Eli Manning actually beat the Patriots with 2 minutes.
Right.
That was that
Okay.
was that was a lot of fun. Even though the Bears lost, like I still like the opening drive, Devin
Ah,
Hester
yeah.
with the
Yeah.
with
For
the
sure.
return touchdown. So that's another memory I still carry with me because it was a good one.
Yeah. No,
that that part of
absolutely
it.
right. Absolutely.
That part
Yeah.
of it
For
anyway.
sure. For sure. That's awesome. Well, of course, yes. And as Delilah mentioned, that she was a little too young for the 85 season, the 86 Super Bowl. But that obviously is my favorite Super Bowl memory. When the Super Bowl was actually played, I had just turned 13 like 2 weeks before. I was very excited to watch this, watch the Super Bowl live with my dad and a couple of my dad's friends. And so it's funny because a lot of people were like, they played the Patriots were the wild card team and had beaten like, I think it was they beat three teams. I'm sure they beat the Raiders, somebody else, and then Miami to actually get to the Super Bowl that year. And we wanted Miami because that was the only team that beat us that year. But unfortunately, we got the Patriots, and they actually jumped out to a 3-0 lead. They kicked the field goal first. There was like, oh, the Bears let them score. Oh my God. and then they proceeded to pretty much not score for most of the rest of the first half because we ended up beating them at the time, which was the biggest margin of victory, 46-10, obviously. But just to watch that, as like I said, as a young boy, just super Bears fan, watching Richard Dent be named MVP, that kind of stuff, that was just great. And yeah, I mean, I just that's my favorite memory, obviously, for Super Bowl. But let's go on then. We have another one up there. Next time is what is your favorite? And this now, see, this is a good one for me. I'm gonna let Delilah go, of course, again. But the thing with me is, I always love that they have entertainment for the halftime show at the Super Bowl because I think it is a big event and everybody watches not just for that. They watch for a lot of the pageantry and all the other stuff. So, Delilah, how about you? What is your favorite halftime show that you've
Okay.
seen or that you've heard?
So for me, it's Prince. And then last year, when all like my favorite hip hop artists or some of them came on
Ah, yes,
stage, like that was really fun.
sure.
And then Beyonce, even though like she caused a
Ah,
blackout, but that was still. I'm just
yeah,
kidding. I'm just
yeah,
kidding. No, but that was that.
cause
Whenever
blackout.
that's funny. But then when everything came back on, that was a really great show too. So.
Yeah, no, that's funny though. She calls blackout. No big deal. Way to go, Beyonce. That's a her her star power was so bright it just caused a blackout. But no, yeah, that is funny. But yeah, you know what? It's funny because that really was my answer. To me, Prince did a phenomenal. I mean, Michael Jackson did a good halftime show, but Prince is probably my favorite just because I don't think there's any better visual of him standing on stage doing Purple Rain and it starts raining. Like, how is that just not symbolic in any kind of way? Like, you're just going, oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. But yeah, I mean, I'd say that's my favorite. Like I said, Michael Jackson did a halftime show. You had, yeah, obviously, and even, I don't want to pretend like I'm the biggest hip hop fan in the world, but that show last year with Dre, Eminem, 50 Cent, all that, that was actually pretty good. I thought the way they put it together, Snoop Dogg, the way they put it together was really good. Uh, trying to remember some of the other after, the Shakira came out the one year. There's one year they had like Britney, Justin, and then Steven Tyler starts singing and Britney comes out and sings with him and all that. So, I mean, they've always had fun collaborations. But yeah, I still have to go with Prince being my favorite halftime show. But let's go to a little. We do have a trivia question. We have live 10 of them. But let's do one right now, Delilah. Let's see if anybody's watching out there and you want to answer, you can answer in the comment. See what
But
you think. And Delilah, if you want, go ahead. What'd you
yeah.
say? I'm sorry.
No, no. I mean, you could also share, with us too, your favorite memories, your
Yeah,
favorite shows. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
make this more
Feel free to
interactive.
comment.
All four of
Yeah.
you watching.
Is it? Oh, we got 4 people. That's awesome, though. I'm thank you for watching. Right.
So
Yeah. If you
wherever
guys
you
have,
are.
but definitely comment if you want. Yeah, definitely comment if you like. I mean, we'll more than like I said. It's just Delilah and I here, so So yes, here we go. This might be an easy one for some people, maybe not. But who won the very first Super Bowl, which was the '66 season, and the Super Bowl was played in January of '67. So yeah, who won the very first Super Bowl? Delilah, I'm pretty sure you know this. I think you do. But those are your choices: Cowboys A, B 49ers, C Packers, or D Steelers.
It was
So if
the
anybody
pack.
wants to comment,
It was the
go ahead, Delilah. Yeah.
Packers.
It was. We all know they won the first two under Vince Lombardi, and yeah, it's. I mean, it was an historic thing. They had the championship game up till then for the conferences and stuff and all that. Then the merger came and it was like, okay, we got to do something different. Let's get. Nate says he doesn't watch the halftime. Nate, come on, buddy. Really, you don't watch the halftime shows? I love you, man, but come on, get a little entertainment, Nate. A little something to break up the football. So wait, what do you do at halftime then, Nate? I'm very curious. Do you just turn the channel off, go do something else, or turn to MTV and watch what they're doing? Or something? They used to do like a halftime thing to counteract the halftime show. Like different networks would do different things at times to counterbalance, to counteract that, which I think is pretty funny actually. But so our man Nate Nate, then you missed probably one of the most risque moments in halftime history when Justin. Yes, Nate, you are correct, my friend. It is the Packers, of course, first Super Bowl. You missed the infamous Janet Jackson boob reveal with Justin Timberlake there. I think that was 2004. That was a very risque moment in television history. And yes, I was watching live, and yes, I saw it. I'm just saying, like, and honestly, I questioned it because I went, did I just see Janet Jackson's boob on television? And my uncle goes, I no, I was watching with my uncle. I'll never forget. He's like, I think we just did, and it was just like, okay, then that was something you don't see every day. So yeah, watching that, again, for those of you who saw the replay, you did not see what happened because they cut away on the replay. But if you were watching it live, you saw Janet Jackson. But anyways, let us move on. I just think that's fun. We all know the Packers won the first Super Bowl. Uh, but yeah, please, if you want to comment, have anything to say outside, where Delilah and I are just winging it here. We did anticipate having more people, but life is life. Things happen. People get busy, got stuff to do. So we're just hanging out here, having a little fun. We got some more stuff to talk about. One of my favorites, and we'll go to this one, Delilah, because I'm always interested in what people eat during the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So I always like to ask people, like, what is your favorite meal or snack, or do you have a favorite drink, whatever it is, when you watch the Super Bowl? Because a lot of people have big parties, they do this whole big thing. I use the time to refill and clean. You know what, Nate? I could tell you're one of those guys who uses his time wisely. That's pretty cool. Like, I would never even think to do that during the halftime show. It's like I refill, I clean, I get a. You're a good dude, Nate. I love it. I think that's great. But Delilah, go ahead. Give us your favorite Super Bowl meal, snack, drink, whatever you got there. What do you like to do when you watch the Super Bowl?
I mean, I think I'm pretty like traditional kind of Super Bowl food, like sliders, wings, like
Yeah,
chips, you know what I
sure.
mean,
Yeah,
nachos,
yeah,
um, things like that, pizza, you know what I mean. Like it's just I'm not,
yeah.
I'll drink beer, of course,
Yes, sure, absolutely. What's your
uh,
favorite beer? Like, do you have a favorite beer to drink, or you just
no,
whatever beer is available, you'll drink?
no, not whatever beer is available because I am fussy. So like,
Okay.
so like I won't drink like any of like the grandpa beers, like those PBRs and stuff like that. Like I,
Grandpa.
dr-
Are you trying to say I'm old, Delilah? Are you calling me a grandpa? Is
no,
that what
that's
it's called?
the
Calling me,
no, but
calling
like
me old?
but I'll drink like like Stella, Blue Moon,
Yeah, sure,
you know,
absolutely.
I'll drink some, sours, some IPAs, even though I'm not a long haired
Sure.
like, bearded white dude. That's usually what I
Long hair beard.
that's usually the stereotype, right? Like the
Yeah.
for IPAs or
He's
whatever,
got a
like tattooed.
plaid shirt,
Yeah.
man bun, right? Tattoos, that kind of thing, right? Does it,
But I
the
do
guy
enjoy
looks like a lumberjack, but yeah,
right. I do enjoy a good IPA and stuff.
he's 32. He's 32. Works for a logistics company. One of those guys. We know the type. It's okay, right? We know those guys. They come to the bar and party hard. It's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's true though. I think a lot of people, like even myself, because I obviously, if you look at me, I'm not that picky of an eater, but nachos have always been my favorite thing, honestly, for just in general. There you go, Scott chips and salsa, nothing wrong with that either. But nachos to me, man, it's not chicken wings. That's yes. For those of you who don't know this, this has been a running thing. Nathan Snell does not, in any way, shape, or form, eat chicken wings. He doesn't eat flats. He doesn't eat drums. He doesn't eat boneless. I guess, well, that's not a wing, anyways. But he doesn't eat chicken wings. So if you ever see Nate, just offer him some and see what happens. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that to Nate. But yeah, I mean, nachos has always been the big one. As a matter of fact, I was so mad, Delilah. Do you remember ESPN Zone they had here in Chicago for a while
Yes, I
down
do
on
remember
Ohio
it.
Street?
Yes, I do. Oh yeah.
To me they had the best plate of nachos in the entire city. I would literally go there on Sundays to watch Bears games just so I could get the nachos with chicken and bacon. And I would just sit there like a big goof that I am, eat my plate of nachos, drink about 4 Cokes, and watch a Bears game. And people wonder why I'm overweight. Let me tell you, I don't wonder about it. I know, but it's all right. I love my nachos. But yeah, pizza. Like, end up going to my sister's house a lot for the Super Bowl, so she's always got some kind of snacks. And then, like I said, nachos are usually around. My dad is a big chicken wing guy, so we always have chicken wings because that's what my dad loves to eat. So yeah, it's always a fun time with Super Bowl meals and snacks. Again, if anyone's watching, which I know there's a few people out there, you guys can always comment for us. Let us know you're out there. We love you. Thank you for tuning in. This is called the Delilah and Nick Hour. We're just kind of hanging out right now, casually talking Super Bowl stuff as we. But so let's keep going. I mean, again, this doesn't have to be. We're just winging it right now. We had like I said, we had other guests planned. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it for one reason or another. So Delilah and I are just hanging out, chatting. Um, One of my other favorite thing, like when we had asked the question, I think we pretty much got the answer to that because, uh, what was your first Super Bowl memory? And you said you kind of remember your first one was the. Well, what was your first? Do you remember what your actual first Super Bowl that you kind of watched? Do you remember
Yeah,
exactly what
actually,
that one was?
no, yeah, I do because like the one of the first like games because it was like headed like into like 2000 like so like all the like 2000 Super Bowls are ones that I'm more like familiar with because I said I was actually a
Yeah,
lot I was older and so I was able to
yeah.
like spend more time like actually pay attention to the game and um and so that was, but I do remember, when the Rams when they were in St. Louis, the Miracle
Mm-hmm.
team, right? Like Kurt Warner and like that whole
Good
vibe,
one.
like that was a fun one, like that was a really good one because like people were like excited, like,
Oh, yeah. The
his
greatest
whole
show on turf.
yeah, like his whole story was cool and Torrey Holt who's still not in the I don't know why he's still not in the Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah, in the Hall of Fame. Right,
He
exactly.
he
A lot of
made
people
he
that
made the
Torrey Holt knows.
he made the ballot again. So I don't know if he'll make
Yeah,
the final, so
yeah. We'll,
but
we'll
like that
see.
was
There's a few guys on there who should get in.
yeah, that
Yeah.
was a good one. Another memorable one for me actually was the when the Saints won because it was a few years after Katrina, and so that was like a huge
Oh
huge
yeah,
deal. Like that
yeah.
one was actually like that's the one that was really like I remember wholeheartedly because it was a few years
Uh
after
huh.
Katrina, and so even though some years passed, people they still didn't recover. It took a long time for the city of New Orleans. Like I don't know if people realize that, like how long it actually the recovery actually took.
Yeah.
And so when
Yeah, it's true.
when Drew Brees won and they brought the the Super Bowl win back to New Orleans, everybody was
Um,
excited. Like it just
yeah.
enlivened the city, and so that was a really good one too. That one I do remember really well, and also because New Orleans is a city that knows how to party and like celebrate. You know
Yes,
what I mean? And so watching the
they
parades
do.
and all the excitement and stuff like that was a really good one too.
Yeah, it's
So
funny because
those are two big ones.
I was trying to really think back of like the first Super Bowl I actually remember watching, and it was the Eagles and the Raiders. It was 1980, 80s. The Super Bowl was played in 1980. I think it was the 79 season, played in 80. But the Eagles lost to the Raiders 27-10. That game is famous for one thing, or one of the things that game is famous for is Rod Martin, who people go, who's Rod Martin? Well, he had 3 interceptions in that game, which is a Super Bowl record. So you'll never forget the 1980 Super Bowl. Oh, Scott says you're a closet Ram fan, huh? Is that true? Delilah,
I
you're a
mean,
closet Ram fan?
I don't hate
right,
them, so you
right.
know.
I don't hate anybody. We don't hate around here. No, but yeah, the Rams for a while were good, and they got that Super Bowl. Last year, finally they got the back to the promised land, as it were, with Matt Stafford finally getting his Super Bowl. So yeah, nobody hates the Rams around here. They just had a really bad year with injury and everything, and just couldn't repeat, which we know is very hard to do, anyways. But you know what, Delilah? Why don't we throw up another question real quick? See if anybody's paying attention out there, and we'll put up another Super Bowl question here. Okay, who guaranteed a victory in Super Bowl three? Put your thinking caps on, ladies and gentlemen. Was it A. Roger Staubach, B. Bart Starr, C. Vince Lombardi, or D. Joe Namath? Who guaranteed a victory in Super Bowl three? Delilah, you know this one?
I'm just gonna guess because this one I knew the first one because that one I knew that's the trivia that I did
Yeah.
know, but I am gonna say A.
Okay, good. No, okay, no, that's fine. Again, none of us were born when Super Bowl three was played, obviously, right? So this it's a little harder, but Joe Namath. So Scott Thaler, Scott says D. Joe Namath. Scott, you are correct, my friend. Broadway Joe Willie said they were playing the Colts, and obviously the Colts were heavily favored against the Jets. But Joe Namath that week of the Super Bowl in press went, "I guarantee." He gave him the Nathan Snell, "I guarantee," and he did. And he went. I want to say the score was 16-9 or something like that. But Joe Willie delivered the Super Bowl for the Jets that year after he promised and guaranteed that they would win Super Bowl three. So go Joe Namath.
Yeah,
Very good, very good. Thank you.
all I know about him is like that's when the Jets were good and the fur coats. Like I've seen videos and
Yes,
stuff. Because obviously I wasn't
right.
born yet, when he won his
No,
Super
yeah,
Bowl.
for
But
sure.
but
I
like the
wasn't
fur
either,
coat,
but yeah, I hear you.
yeah. But that's what I remember from all the stills are the famous fur coat, and
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Joe Willie had that big old fur coat, and he was strutting his stuff. Let me tell you. But it's so funny. Let's go with one more question, Delilah. Let's throw another one up there for the
all right.
folks watching. We'll see. We'll test your Super Bowl knowledge while we're here. Who was the first black quarterback to start in a Super Bowl? A. Michael Vick, B. Russell Wilson, C. Randall Cunningham, or D. Doug Williams? Who was the first black quarterback to start in a Super Bowl?
D.
Yes, of course. Everybody, for you Redskins fans, and I knew this was a question that Sean Spencer would put up because I'm like, it's a Washington Redskins answer. It's a Washington Redskins. Well, now they're the Commanders, but the old Redskins. Yes, of course, Doug Williams, and Doug Williams won that Super Bowl for the Redskins, and I believe he was the MVP of that game. Sean, you can always verify that for me, but I believe he was. I do remember watching that Super Bowl as well. Uh, it was really great to see Doug Williams get out there because he wasn't, if I remember correctly, he wasn't Sean again. Sean being the it was sorry, Scott. It was not Randall Cunningham, but it was in fact D. Doug Williams. Sean can verify that Williams was actually the backup, I think, and then he got in there and started and ended up winning the Super Bowl. So, way to go, Doug Williams. That's awesome.
I like those
Again,
stories.
yeah, you do though, and they're good stories, and you like to see that kind of thing. Uh, yeah, for sure. Delilah, I'll tell you what. Let's take a quick break. Let's put one more question up there, and then we'll give you the answer on the other half of this commercial. So let's throw up one more question.
And one more
And
trivia.
while we Yeah, throw up one more question and then get while we get our. Who was the first coach to win 4 Super Bowls? Was that A. Vince Lombardi, D. Don Shula, C. Tom Landry, or D. Chuck Noll?
Are we answering that
And
now or after the break?
we'll answer that question after the break.
Okay.
Let's go to a quick break and then we'll be back.
All right. Sounds good.
Hey, that was saw Mr. Handy there. That was a quick little break for us. So on the opposite side of that the first side of that question, we asked you who was the first coach to win 4 Super Bowls. Delilah, any guesses? Lombardi, Shula, Tom Landry,
I'm
Chuck Noll.
just gonna say Shula.
Don Shula. Actually, no, it was Chuck Noll. The Steelers won 4 Super Bowls under Chuck Noll during the '70s. No, Lombardi only won a couple. That was the first 2 that Vince won, and then Green Bay didn't go back for years. Uh, Shula won 3, I think, with Miami. That was it. And then Chuck Noll was the guy that was 4 with the Steelers, all in the '70s. Steel curtain defense. Terry Bradshaw as a quarterback. Good stuff.
Yeah. See, I
Uh,
remember the Steelers winning 4 Super Bowls, but I didn't remember the name of the coach. Sorry.
no, that's quite all right. Yeah, it was Chuck Noll. Because again, if you know, for those of you who may not know this, in the last 50 years, they've only had 3 coaches.
I
It
know.
was
So I
Chuck
was like,
Noll, then Bill Cowher, and then the current coach, which is for some reason I could see the man's face. Why am I blanking on his name? Delilah, help me here.
what?
Well, I could see the coach of the Steelers currently. Why am I blanking on his name?
I don't know. Why are you?
I need,
Why are
I need,
you?
I need,
Why are you
I,
blinking?
I don't know. I'm blinking. I'm literally blinking on his name. I know it's Chuck Noll, Bill Carter. I'm like, what's his name?
Come
That
on,
third
you
guy,
got this.
Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin. I'm like,
So I
hello.
was
I'm right.
like, you got this.
Yeah, yeah. Mike Tomlin. Sorry, I was like, I know his name. I'm like, why am I blanking on
I know,
Mike
I
Tomlin?
know,
Good
I
lord.
know you know his name.
Uh, yeah, that was what is going on around here, folks. Let me tell you. Scott, yeah, that was the last. That was the '79 Super Bowl, I believe, Scott, where the Steelers beat the Rams. Sean and I were actually talking about that one earlier. So that's the '79 Super Bowl was that. I think the last one the Steelers won in that decade, beating the Rams in that Super Bowl. But let's see, where are we at now? Did we have? Let's go with one more Super Bowl question, Delilah, and then we'll move on from the
Okay.
questions for a moment. One more
I
Super Bowl question for those. Yeah, put up which. I know there's a few more. Oh, we'll get to that too. But we'll do that now since you put it up there.
Oh,
We
I'm
were going to
sorry.
talk
You
about
you
favorite
did you
Super.
mean Did you
No,
mean
no, it's okay.
trivia? I
No,
got
don't worry.
confused. I
Oh
apologize.
no, 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 you're fine. No, no, you're fine. We'll talk about this. It's fine. We'll go back to the questions. But what is your favorite Super Bowl commercial? Now, go ahead, Delilah. I'll let you go first, and I got a couple myself. But go ahead.
So mine tend to be like a lot of the for me like Budweiser makes some of like the best commercials. Like they just do. I mean,
Right.
a few of my favorites just happen to be with their Clydesdales. Like I remember the one
Yes.
with the donkey where like the
Yeah.
the donkey goes and
Yeah.
auditions to be a Clydesdale, and it's so cute.
Yes. Yes.
Because he starts
Yeah.
doing all
Yeah.
like the little stuff, and then he actually leads the Clydesdales, and that's super adorable. And then there was the one that
Yeah.
almost made me cry with the lost puppy, and I'm like, oh my god, you have a lost
Yes.
dog,
Yeah.
a lost puppy in
Yeah.
a commercial, and it looked like he was gonna be
Yeah.
attacked by wolves, but then the Clydesdale all come out to be like, get away, wolf, like this is our
Yeah.
puppy.
For sure.
So like that was super like heartwarming. And then they had another one with a dog, but this one with a Dalmatian, where like the a
Yeah.
Clydesdale
Yeah.
doesn't make the first like running to be part of pulling the wagon, and so the
Right.
Dalmatian they do a whole like the Rocky montage, and he starts training the
Yes. Yeah.
Clydesdale,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then like
Yeah.
and the Clydesdale actually wins the next audition, quote unquote, and so like those were really awesome. And then the final one was like the Budweiser frogs, like
Oh yeah.
the
Yeah.
Bu- the
Budweiser. Yeah.
Budweiser frogs were like really had a
Oh.
really long like Budweiser commercial, and then they threw in like the
Yeah.
iguanas, which was really weird. So yeah, like the
Yeah.
Budweiser frogs, and then the iguanas. And
Uh,
so like I said, for me, Budweiser just makes some of the best commercials. They're always iconic. Like they're either gonna make you cry, like or you're
uh,
gonna laugh. But those are a few
yeah.
that
And
I
they did
really
that.
remember.
And they did that. What's that? They did all those commercials too. What's that? Like, those were fun. I love the Budweiser commercials. I think one of my favorites is probably one not a lot of people would off the cuff remember, but there was an American Express commercial back when Seinfeld was a pitchman for them, and Jerry Seinfeld did a commercial where he babysits a friend's kid, and he doesn't realize like he's trying to entertain the kid, and he doesn't realize like why the kid is not be like he's got like a circus he got because he does a conga line he does all these things to get the kid entertained, and then the parents go home and goes, oh, he didn't have his glasses on. So this whole commercial, Jerry, the reason why the kid wasn't seeing anything or responding to anything was because he needed to put his glasses on. And Seinfeld goes through all this trouble using his American Express card to pay for all this stuff to entertain the kid. I just thought it was very funny. It's one I've always remembered. Yeah, it was a very good commercial. But yeah, like the Budweiser stuff, obviously any of the Clydesdale commercials, like Delilah said. Doritos had a couple of good ones over the years. Like Dorito always comes up with some creative stuff. There was one with a couple years back with a bunch of old people, and I don't mean to say it like that, but they were older folks. They literally were like in their 70s and 80s, and it just cracked me up. Like I just they're so creative with those. I mean, they pay a lot of money for those. They should be. I mean, those companies pay millions of dollars to get the real men of genius. Those Ben, thank you Ben for tuning in and commenting. Yeah, the real men of genius. I used to love those because that guy he had that high pitched voice where he would sing the Mr. Foam Finger Maker. And they'd be doing the commercials and be singing in the background. Like
Yeah.
those were good. You gotta love the all those real men of genius commercials were awesome. Yeah. Let's see. Let's go with another Super Bowl trivia question, Delilah. Let's see what we got here. Um, see if anybody can answer this next one. Go ahead and just throw up whichever one you like. Okay. Who was in the first Super Bowl a rematch? Was it Cowboys Bills, 49ers Bengals, Steelers versus Cowboys, or Giants versus Patriots? Sean, did you
Hmm.
change these questions? I swear I don't remember this one. No, I'm just kidding. Like, did I answer these? I answered all these questions, and I'm like, I know I got them right, but I don't remember.
I'm
I'm just playing.
gonna
But
go with
yes, Delilah,
B.
you went with B, 49ers Bengals. Yes, I believe that was the correct answer. Sean, you can verify if it's not. I know you're in the background somewhere. But yeah, they played. Well, actually, that was their first time they played was in '82,
Ben
the
says
'82
C.
or 81 season. Well,
Now,
see, that might have been no. It's
Sean has
Steelers Cowboys.
finally.
No, he's right.
Sean
Right.
made an
Sean makes an
appearance.
appearance.
Woo!
Yeah, Steelers Cowboys. I thought it was Steelers Cowboys actually, so I apologize. I thought it was Steelers Cowboys, right? Because they played twice in the '70s, I believe. So that was the answer for that one.
Oh, because it says
They played the yeah
the first
yeah the
Super
first
Bowl
yeah
rematch.
That's where I was confused. Yeah, that's where I was first. Yeah, I'm sorry. It was C. It was Steelers Cowboys, who was in the first Super Bowl rematch. But of course, we do know that the 49ers and Bengals did play each other again
They
in
did.
1990. Sean, the 90 something, 91, 90, 91. I know they played again, and we almost had another super. I actually picked. I went 0-2 like during championship week. Yeah, there you go. 10-13. Was it 10-13? Was that close together? My bad. I thought it
For
was a
the
little further
fir-
apart. But you go.
for the first ones,
No,
not
those are the
not the
Steelers. Those
Bengals.
are Steelers, right?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, no. Well, come on, producer Sean, help me out with the. When
yeah.
was the second 49ers Bengals one? I know it was in the 90s, 91, 92, maybe 90, 91. But anyways, yeah. So it was in fact, sorry, Steelers Cowboys C. Ben, you were correct. Ben Cornett, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Ben, for tuning in. Scott has also commented, so thank you, Scott, for tuning in. Sean, we always thank you. I know you're in the background doing your thing. Appreciate that, my brother. Um, yeah, again, we're just kind of Delilah and I were here, the Super Bowl 16 to 23, so 7 years apart. There you go. Thank you, sir. For those of you who don't know, Sean is definitely our Super Bowl historian. He came up with these wonderful questions. Like Ben got it right as well, 81 and 88. We thank you all for again tuning in. It just ended up being Delilah and I today, so we're just kind of going through stuff that we were going to do. Again, things happened. We had a bunch of other people scheduled. Things just didn't work out. So I think Delilah, just we'll take one more break, and then we'll come back with our one last thought. How's that?
All right, sounds good to me. All right.
All right, very good. So we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy this commercial break. All right, thank you very much. That, of course, was for the Sunday show that was on during this past football season. Hopefully, we'll be able to get that up and running again next year. But let's go ahead again. We really do appreciate you sticking with us for the last half hour or so here. Again, Delilah and I were doing our best to still entertain you, give you all the stuff that we had planned, and just try to make it fun for you. We're going to go ahead and go with our final segment that we do on every show.
Do
Do
we
we
get
get
any
any
prize?
prizes for it?
Well,
Scott, you have my undying. Yeah.
we're gonna do
Go
another
ahead,
trivia
Delilah.
show
Yeah,
eventually, right, next season, because we only did one trivia
yeah,
show. It went kind
yeah,
of good,
for
and we
sure.
were gonna do another one, but we just didn't. We didn't get it all
Yeah, we're
together, but
definitely.
we're gonna do it again.
Yeah, for sure. Like we're definitely going to have another one. Yeah, again, a lot of things we want to do. We have a lot of ideas. As I tell Delilah, I always have something in my head going on. I overthink everything, so I've always got something. And Sean has ideas, and everybody, we definitely will do another one, and then there'll be a prize for that one. How about a Dave?
it's
Well,
got
well,
it's got to be platonic,
Scott.
because
Yeah, um, Scott, you're a good dude. I'm sure. I have met Delilah's other half, and he's a scary looking guy. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Kev, I love you if you're watching. Kev, if you're out there, I love you,
I
man.
know, no,
Thank you
I
for.
know, I know you're a Scott. That's why I found it funny.
Yeah, no,
we're
exactly. Like
we're Facebook friends.
I'm
I know
married.
you are.
Oh, right. Scott's married too. It's funny. I'm married. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll talk to Kevin. If maybe we can auction off Delilah for a date if that's what everybody wants. I don't know. I'm not trying to.
Oh
Just
Lord.
kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah, Delilah's like, no, thanks, Nick. Go do something else. Let's not go there. But of course, as always, like I said, we do end every show with one last thought. And it's just anything that's on our mind. So, Delilah, feel free to go ahead. Well, actually, let me ask you this real quick. We will do one last thought, but just to remind everyone of your Super Bowl prediction, who are you picking this week on Sunday for the big game? Real quick.
Kansas City,
Yeah.
Mr. Patrick Mahomes is gonna get his
There it is.
second, Lombardi trophy. Okay, he's gonna get his second win.
There you go.
I'm not hating on the Eagles, but they're also wearing the white jersey, which everything I've read on
Yeah.
it's kind of wild, because you're like, oh no, but then when you look at statistics, Like
Yeah,
statistically, I don't know why this is true, but it's out there. Like for some reason, the team that wears the white
the
jerseys,
loses a lot.
statistically, yeah. So anyway,
Yeah.
they end up winning.
No, I hear you.
So
Yeah. Oh, they end up winning. Okay, is that what it's? Yeah,
they end
one
up
of I think it was
winning.
one of the two.
They end up winning.
But I'm gonna, again, I'm gonna not again. This
So
isn't
we'll
Patrick
see.
Mahomes hate or
But,
anything.
but yeah, no, it
Eagles
could
were green
change.
last time,
That's
and
what
the
I'm saying.
Patriots
Like
were the white.
it could
Yeah,
it could change. So maybe that's why the Eagles are gonna go with green. But I'm still gonna go with the
but
Chiefs.
the,
So
but the Eagles don't have Nick Foles this time, Sean. No Nick Foles for this one. So I'm just kidding. They have Jalen Hurts, which is much better than
much
Nick
better,
Foles, I would think.
much better,
Yeah, much better. Yeah, much better than Nick Foles.
much
But you
better.
know what? I'm not gonna lie. I know in my heart, I know that Kansas City, just in general, I think when you look with the experience and everything, probably it as far as their quarterback and tight end go, I mean those two are just phenomenal together. When you
No,
got Patrick Mahomes,
oh, my heart
yeah, I know how
hurts.
from the. Oh yeah, you you had to bring that up, didn't you, Mister Double Doink? Don't you got some work? Don't you got some work to do? Go sit down, sir. Go do some work. Don't be coming on here talking about double doinks. All right, that's not cool. You did it because it's Delilah and I on the show, right? Because the two Bears fans. Thanks a lot, Sean. I appreciate that. But yeah, I obviously I'm pretty okay. I want to pick the Eagles just because the NFC. I like the NFC. To go with the Chiefs on this one. I just think it's really hard. Just looking again, and I thought, Cincinnati almost did. Cincinnati shot themselves in the foot in that championship game. But yeah, I mean, Patrick Mahomes finds a way to get it done most of the time, and it's really hard to. This is Jalen Hurts' first time, and I get, the Eagles. I think that's the biggest key for the Eagles is their lines, their defensive line, their offensive line, because they're both pretty good. If those guys really show up, you guys, what did they didn't ask the Bears?
Oh,
Yes, I know, but
it
actually,
does.
if you think about it, Sean, I mentioned who was the MVP of Super Bowl 20 because I did say Richard. I'm watching Richard Dent win the MVP award. So that was a question that Sean had posted. Who
You
was the
did.
Super Bowl MVP or who was the MVP of Super Bowl 20? And it was Richard Dent, in fact,
Yeah.
for Super Bowl 20. The Bears winning.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did that. I realized I did it afterwards,
You
but yeah.
did, yeah. Earlier in the show, Sean, we were sharing our favorite memories. Nick shared his
Uh,
favorite memory, which was actually watching, the '85 Bears win, and
yeah,
he already mentioned who won MVP, so
yeah,
the trivia would have been like null and void.
yeah. If people were really paying attention, they would have caught and went, "Oh, Richard Dent was the MVP of that Super Bowl. I know that one." Yeah, so it was in fact Richard Dent. So my bad. But okay, well let's move on. Like I said, I think the Chiefs will win. I'll root for the Eagles.
All right,
But
and people
okay, let's see.
watching, what are your predictions? Those of you who are still with
Yeah, put them
us,
in the comments.
who, by all
Yeah,
means, we love to hear from our fans watching. Who do you think will win this upcoming Super Bowl in Arizona?
Arizona 212-23. All right, Delilah, go ahead. Let's go ahead and finish with our one last thought. Go ahead. What do you got for this
Yeah,
week?
I'm just gonna keep it fun. Like, hey, enjoy the Super Bowl wherever you are. Be safe. Please remember, I'm gonna say the caveat. I don't care. Don't drink and drive. Like,
Yeah,
be safe.
for sure.
Have a good time. Be safe while you're out there. But make sure you don't get behind the wheel if you don't need to be behind the wheel. But enjoy watching the Super Bowl, whether you're watching it at home, you're out with friends at a bar, wherever it is. Enjoy this upcoming Super Bowl. Have fun celebrating, and those of us who don't have a bone in this game, we're just watching for fun. We'll just sit back and be like,
Yeah,
"Oh, yay, so and so won."
yeah, for sure.
Like,
Absolutely. Yeah,
that's all it is. And
100%.
have a fun weekend, y'all. Enjoy the Super Bowl, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, no, I had something in a similar vein. Like I just wanted to say, like, yeah, this is a fun weekend for everything. Everybody always, people always have Super Bowl parties and get-togethers and that whole thing, and it's just a big festive thing. Like I said, people like the halftime show. We got Rihanna this year, so we'll see what she's gonna do. So yeah, what guest she might bring out. But yeah, just enjoy this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. It's one of the biggest weekends in football. Obviously, the game starts a little later on Sunday. It's usually 5:30 Central Time, 5:40 Central Time by the time the game starts. So for those of you in different time zones, be aware of that. But yeah, just have a good time. It's a great weekend for football. It's the final game of the year. Everybody watches. Look for the commercials, look for the all that good stuff. So yeah, just enjoy. And again, we will be on next week because that will be our last show of the actual this season. We will be taking a break after that for a little bit, and we'll have more information later on terms of when we might be coming back and all that stuff. But yeah, so thank you again all for watching. Please, we thank you all for tuning in, for
Thank you,
commenting and
everybody.
answering our trivia questions. So for Delilah, I'm going to show you my guns, Crespo, and Nick, I want to smoke Rosario. Have a great week, everyone. Enjoy the Super Bowl, and we'll see you next Tuesday for our final show of the season. Have a good
Take
night.
care.